The human race has always been obsessed by things it can't understand. The more elusive the answer, the more we try to find it. The Society for Psychical Research has compiled hundreds of reports since it was founded in 1882. These are just some of them, proving, the Society's members believe, the existence of paranormal phenomena. But after more than a century, they still haven't been able to find out how or why. Our stories tonight are as strange as any the Society has ever encountered. We'll meet a woman who works alongside doctors to practice astonishing healing powers, and we'll hear from the patients she has apparently cured. First, this particular report was compiled by a group investigating ghost stories at the fortress which has guarded England's shores longer than any other, from the Iron Age to the Second World War. High above the famous White Cliffs on the south coast, Dover Castle is the kind of place you might expect to attract ghost stories. Staff there take them with a pinch of salt, but more recent events have made them take their unearthly guests much more seriously. Nicknamed Hellfire Corner, damp and eerie. There are 3.5 miles of these tunnels carved through the cliffs during World War II. Gloomy or not, today they are the favourite tourist attraction in this busy ferry port. Leslie Simpson has guided thousands of people on their plunge into history, but there's one tour he'll never forget.
I had a group of about 20 people.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you'll just follow me through now, please.
We came into the repeater station. I brought the group up to the barrier. I stand on a step where I can overlook the group.
You're now in the Defence Telecommunications Network Station, DTN.
I played
we call this the repeater station.
Information.
All lines entering the headquarters came through a narrow well shaft, 150 feet below this room.
I had to notice the lady, she was very intent, and she suddenly looked very alarmed, and she fell down and slipped down onto her knee.
Connecting the outside line.
I'm okay, I'm fine, I'm fine.
But the lady wasn't really fine, as Leslie found out at the end of the tour.
Thanks very much. Glad you enjoyed the tour. Goodbye. Bye. Goodbye. Thanks for coming. Are you okay now? You didn't hurt yourself in there, did you?
No, I'm fine. But, well, this is going to sound very strange, but I think I ought to tell you what happened down there.
Behind that, on the level above,
She explained that she'd been watching a man. She had a uniform on, a naval uniform, down at the far end of the repeater station. And she thought he belonged here, part of the tour, tinkering with the equipment.
it was essential that this equipment worked.
She got alarmed because he started to walk towards the group. He was walking quite fast. He came down the second small flight of steps, and he just walked straight through the barrier
Checked and double-checked equipment, making it
and right through her.
necessary. Technically, this room was known as a repeater or amplifier.
This sighting is only one of many in a complex which spans 3 eras: the Hellfire Corner tunnels, the old gun rooms built to fight off Napoleon's threatened invasion, and the ancient castle where William the Conqueror once stayed. All have reports of inexplicable goings-on.
Well, I've lost count of the number of times that visitors and my staff have told me of strange noises and mysterious figures they've seen. 2 Americans that were visiting the underground works, and after they left, they mentioned to the guides of the appropriate sound effects that we had down there, but there were no sound effects in the underground works.
Could these be the sounds the American couple heard? Sounds of the Second World War, when Hellfire Corner was the communications centre monitoring the threat of enemy attack in the Channel. Bomb-proof and impregnable, the evacuation of Dunkirk was planned here. Hundreds of people lived and worked inside the cliff face. The tunnels were sealed for half a century before being opened up as a museum. Even now, visitors are allowed round only with supervision. Some would say for good reason.
I had a tour group of about 25 to 30 people, and the tour had been going well until we reached the repeater station. I noticed a father and daughter standing slightly away from the rest of the group.
150 feet below this room, connecting with the main distribution frame behind the desks.
The girl appeared to be in communication with somebody who appeared invisible to me, and her father was looking on interestedly. And then all of a sudden the father disappeared out of the repeater station.
This equipment worked at all times. At the very rear of the tunnel is the
Can you stay with the rest of the group, please?
Where 24 GPO engineers...
Yes, of course. Sorry.
24-hour standby would check...
Karen tried to forget the incident and carried on with her tour.
Just before we move into the next room, ladies and gentlemen, a piece of light-hearted information for you. This room is supposed to be the most haunted room in Hellfire Corner.
Yes, I know, and I've just seen the ghost.
At that point, I thought we got a bit of a one here and dismissed what he said.
OK, ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to follow me.
He was very casual about the whole thing, but the girl was very withdrawn and shaken. She looked in shock, in fact.
Karen realised something very unusual had happened, so she took down the details.
He said his name was Bill Billings, and he said he was killed when he was assembling an amplifier rack or something.
I thought that they had definitely seen someone down here.
Despite such testimonies, some of the castle staff are quite sure that the reason for it all is a perfectly natural one. After 8 years of taking groups around the castle, Philip Wyburn-Brown thinks he knows what's behind the apparently abnormal activities.
The building is 800 years old. It's built high on the cliff. It is subject to a lot of wind and air currents up here. So I think a lot of it is very much the natural phenomena of the building itself.
So could it all just be a combination of natural atmospherics and overactive imaginations? Local investigators have done a scientific stakeout of the castle and its many tunnels and passages on 3 all-night vigils.
Everybody happy with the groups? We brought a team of 16 people into Dover Castle, divided the team into pairs, working to a very strict shift rota. We brought in very sophisticated equipment such as a high-tech computerised sensing machine which senses changes in temperature, movement. Everybody's equipped with tape recorders, thermometers, video cameras. Each pair were given a certain location to work on.
Group H, Sue Nichols and Keith Akers, were stationed in a passageway with their tape recorder.
We'd been sat there about 5 hours when suddenly there was an enormous bang.
Unable to believe their ears, they played back the tape.
And we knew there was no doors anywhere around. There was nobody else near us.
And then, the investigators say, they didn't just hear what they claimed to be poltergeist activity, they saw it.
At approximately 2 o'clock in the morning, my partner and myself heard a loud bang in this room, and we investigated this door here, found it was to be locked, and moved away approximately 10 feet, and there was this huge bang behind us, which made us both jump out our skins. We turned around quite petrified to see the door still vibrating madly.
The next time it happened, the investigators were determined to get proof. Chris Cherry, a master at the University of Kent, trained a video camera on the door.
The noise was quite tremendous, and all those tapestries above our heads started swaying. And this was rather extraordinary. We thought we got a paranormal phenomenon, and I very stupidly yelled out, "We've got it!" And of course that screwed the whole thing up, and it ceased.
Each team who were working in the keep thoroughly checked the area out, and we could find no apparent natural reason for the door to run at all.
So what could be the cause of the events at Dover Castle? Michael Bromley is a psychic who claims he can tune into departed spirits. He's never been here before, so what will he find in Hellfire Corner?
This area is very powerful and very strong. I would expect that at different times people walk through here.
In the repeater station, Michael came up with a name.
I'd just been given the name Helen. For what reason?
But the castle official watching Michael Bromley wasn't impressed.
He started talking about Helen, and there just wouldn't have been women in that area, so I became very sceptical and just didn't believe what he was saying. It was just didn't gel, just wasn't right.
However, a few days after we filmed Michael Bromley, another visitor, an Australian tourist who'd only just arrived in Britain, astonished everyone.
I told the tour guide what I'd seen while I was in this room, how a ghostly figure had come running up towards me. He was blonde, he was wearing navy blue. He said his name was Samuel, and he was asking me questions about a woman called Helen. He was very agitated and wanting to find out about where Helen was.
When she came to me and told me about Helen, you really could have just knocked me down with a feather. It was amazing, really. It sort of changed my attitude, really, to the place.
Well, I imagine it would. And it's not the first time that Michael Bromley's psychic information has made an impact. He's previously been employed as official psychic to the Olympic Games, helping police to sniff out security loopholes. Strange, but true. After the break, more mysterious powers. The doctors who refer their patients for healing that some describe as a miracle.